Hello everyone, Ace here, and today I've decided to provide an update with regards to The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. Specifically, thanks to statistics from Samba TV, the viewership numbers from the United States have come out and they aren't exactly good, as The Rings of Power has only managed to get 1.8 million views from the US. Compare this to the 4.8 million views of House of the Dragon, and it's clear that this show, which by the way is the most expensive show in all TV history, isn't exactly doing as well as Amazon may have hoped. And it has led to further discussions on topics such as hate watching, as well as people looking for explanations for the cause behind the show not doing as well as it should. Now, on the subject of hate watching, I need to reaffirm my own position. I am against the idea of hate watching this show. That said, I do believe it is important to explain what exactly hate watching is and is not. Which is to say, when I am talking about hate watching, I am talking about very specifically giving either Amazon money or views. And so I must still reaffirm my position that you should under no circumstances give Amazon any money or views for this show. This, however, is not the same as making yourself completely oblivious to the show. By all means, I am in favor of the idea of you actually keeping your ear to the ground and knowing what problems the show does have. So paying attention to reviews and reactions to the show is not itself an act of hate watching, and is instead something I do actively encourage at this point. On the topic of the cause behind why the show isn't doing as well as it perhaps should, at least in the eyes of Amazon, I've seen people suggesting that the negative reviews that the show has received are the main reason why the show isn't doing so well. Now, while I do encourage people to leave negative reviews about a show that they don't like, provided that those negative reviews are of course accurate, meaning that you do at least have to be familiar with what you're talking about when you leave that review, I still have to say that I don't believe that the negative reviews themselves are the main reason that the show is doing the way it is as far as viewership is concerned. But to understand what I'm talking about, let's look at the bigger picture and discuss for a moment the topic of normies, and a detail about normies that I believe that many of my fellow content creators may have overlooked. A detail that would actually explain what is going on here. See, normies at the end of the day are people that can be best described as individuals who don't want to be politically involved, and thus when the topic does revolve around politics, will opt for the safest option possible, as they simply do not care and want to be left alone when it comes to politics. The reason I bring this up is that this suggests that the normies are, above all other demographics, a group that prioritizes escapism, and when it comes to entertainment, just wanting good entertainment, and not being preached at. And this is, I believe, the biggest detail that is being overlooked, because the entertainment industry has been heavily reliant upon far leftist activists for quite some time now. People who believe that everything is not only political but also propaganda, and thus should be turned into pro-Marxist propaganda to push the message. A direct consequence of this decision, however, is that even the normies don't have a viable means of escapism within the modern entertainment industry. They can't really stay out of the loop anymore, or at the very minimum, nowhere near as much as they would like, specifically because of all these far leftists forcing their own politics down everyone else's throats. And with this all in mind, it seems to me like it would be only inevitable for the normies to eventually have had enough and be specifically involved in a consumer revolt against wokeism. Because again, normies are interested in escapism, and also in having quality entertainment. And this lies in stark contrast to wokeism, which forces politics down everyone's throats and directly sacrifices the entertainment and artistic quality of media in the name of the message. That's not to say that normies haven't backed some pretty god-awful IPs in the past, such as, for example, the Scary Movie franchise. It is, however, to say that the decay in entertainment and artistic quality in modern entertainment has become so severe that absolutely no one could ignore it. And it is my opinion that this is ultimately what has led to the disappointing ratings behind The Rings of Power. Now, ultimately, I do need to stress that this is, at the end of the day, my own interpretation on this matter. I will end, however, by once again bringing up one very important detail. If The Rings of Power does actually flop, then the implications will be very clear, even if they don't necessarily ruin Amazon as a whole. It would still send a very harsh lesson to Hollywood. That lesson being that not even The Lord of the Rings can guarantee success if wokeness is forcefully inserted into the IP. And if absolutely no piece of entertainment can guarantee success or is a safe option, option if it is made woke, then not only is it a case of the general population rejecting wokeness commercially speaking, but it also implies that people are being pushed further in the opposite direction politically speaking as well. And if your political propaganda piece can neither be considered commercially nor politically successful, then there is absolutely zero reason to make it a propaganda piece in the first place. And hopefully the Rings of Power will become such a blatant example of this that absolutely no one can ignore the reality. But in any case, this has been Ace. Hope to see you guys again soon. Take care. Ace out.